welcome to Declaration's strategy and training session. So what we're going to cover is we're going to cover three things today. We're going to talk about Declaration's overall massive transformation purpose. We're going to talk about Declaration's values, and we're going to do an elongated training session. So let me start with sharing what Declaration's massive transformation purpose is, MTP. Our MTP is we power ideas. And what that basically means is that we have a lot of ideas, our clients have ideas, and we connect the two. We basically ensure that our clients and their ideas can actually go from an idea all the way to execution and basically enable their success. And we have 4 core values. We focus on clients and we deliver value. We realize the power of our people. We will grow responsibly and we will execute responsibly. So now let me double click into each one of these 4. And what I will do is I will read it from here so that we can actually get into the exact specifics of the vision. So we want to go the extra mile to ensure our clients' success by offering innovative solutions to challenging problems and assisting them in inspiring ways. We serve our clients with compassion and discipline as their success forms the core of how we deliver value and find meaning. So the clients are always our true north. If we focus on clients, we focus on their success, we will be successful. So that's the number one and most important value. The second one is that we want to realize the power of our people, of you all. And what that means is that we are strong advocates of the diversity of ideas, of styles, of thoughts, of experiences, of cultures, and ethnicity. Our goal is to constantly evolve and always be relevant. We strive to accumulate talented, passionate, and nice people with whom we can share our success. And sharing our success is critical. Now, if Declaration is successful, then senior leaders within Declaration will be successful, middle management will be successful, and people in the lower end of the chain will be successful. We will share our success across the board. We will grow responsibly. And what that means is that we want to accomplish responsible and sustainable growth by establishing a balance between great clients with great ideas and great people with great ideas. So great clients with great ideas, great people with great ideas. Ideas of our people are guided by a common purpose to amplify and empower our clients' success. So it's your ideas that empower our clients' success. And what we want to do is we want to execute responsibly. Balance is the key to sustainable growth and evolution. We are committed to act with integrity, discipline, and dedication to give back by sharing our success with our community. So we will give back wherever we succeed, we will take a portion and we will help the less fortunate and we will give back to our community. So just to quickly recap, our massive transformative purpose is we power ideas. We have 4 values: focus on clients and deliver value. We realize the power of our people. We grow responsibly and we will execute responsibly. Now, to do all of this, there's a simple concept called the flywheel. It's just like a fan. And it starts with the client right at the top. That if we please and we amaze our clients, we will deliver value. We will retain the clients and the clients will give us more work. Right? And that's the center of what we do. And on the 2 sides of that is, on one side, we need to hire great people like you all, hire more and more people, train them. And on the other side is marketing, how we acquire new clients. And then at the bottom is administration and finance, right? But if you think about just these 3 things, client in the center, hiring great people, training great people, and marketing. If we can keep those 3 things in sync, then this flywheel, the fan, slowly increases in speed, accelerates. And that's how we plan to grow Declaration in 2020, 2021, 2022. So this is a little bit of a game here, right? It's a little bit of a trick. So whoever has photographic memory, keep seated. Cool. So none of us have photographic memory. Whoever has a pen and a notebook or paper in front of them can sit. So this is like a super, super important lesson, right? That you have to write things down. That's how you recall stuff. That's how you will follow up stuff. That's how you will plan it, right? And I'm not trying to call you out if this is fun and games, but just think about this, right? Wherever you are, have like a pen, have a notebook with you. So you can take notes, you can then review them later, because you're gonna forget, right? Anyways, go ahead, sit down. So that was the little fun that I've now played with these guys for a while, but I'm a little surprised that Yasser did not have his notebook out. And Ahmed has the smallest notebook in the world. Get a bigger notebook. Okay? Okay, perfect. All right. So now let's get into that was like, I guess, training step 0, if you will, before you actually even get into the training, right? Always have a notebook, always be ready to take notes, right? All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna get into the training. It's broken up into 5 areas, and we're gonna start with a section that's just the basics. And it starts with one of our values, which is focusing on clients and delivering value, and that is customer is king. If you focus on the customer and you basically enable their success, they will be addicted to you. If they're addicted to you, they're gonna keep coming back to you. If they keep coming back to you, that means we're getting more and more services, we're getting recurring revenue. It's super hard to acquire clients. Once you acquire clients, the idea is to embed yourself into their workflow. So that's, rule number 1 here in basics, customer is king. The second is organization, task management, and power of lists. Make your life simple by keeping a list of to-do items. Maintain a weekly list. Right? So what I do is, this is my weekly list. It's a little messy, but this is my weekly list. I start off the week by saying, okay, I'm going to do this, 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 and this is my list of things to do. And then as the week progresses, I add more stuff to it on stuff that I have to follow up on. And this is my own personal trick. I love having a blue pen, and if I switch this, it becomes a red pen. So in blue, I write the item, and in red, I cross it out. That crossing out is just something that, gives me a sense of accomplishment. Okay, like at the end of the week, I look at it, I'm like, oh my God, I've crossed out like so many things. So it's a weird way that I fuel my own kind of like, okay, next week I'll do more. And the idea isn't here like that, you have to complete every single thing. Feel free to prioritize, and we'll talk about, being agile. The next one is be responsive. And the idea is whether it's, emails, WhatsApp messages, text messages, especially to your client, and then second to your colleagues, always be responsive. I know that I built an unbelievably successful relationship with a client of a big credit card company abroad. And it was a very small project. And this client kept giving me more work for 4 years. And the main reason was I was super responsive. It didn't matter what time or day it was, I always responded to the client. The other trick here is a snoozing feature in your email inbox. So sometimes, I send an email and I'm like, oh, I have to follow up in a week or in 2 weeks. So snooze it in your inbox, let the message come back to your top. That's another simple trick that I have. Moving on to the 4th item, own your mistakes. Along the way to being successful, you will make mistakes. So take chances, make mistakes, don't be afraid of them. Own them, learn from them, move on. Don't get hung up on the mistakes. Just in the last week, I can tell you 4 or 5 mistakes that Ahmed has made, Yasser has made, Hassan has made, and that I've made. Just in the last 2 weeks, I can literally list them down. And some of them have been very serious. Right? But nobody, we didn't shout at you, didn't shout at you, didn't shout at you, didn't shout at me. Right? Make mistakes, but own them, move on. Don't repeat them. That's the goal, right? And this is linked to another important point about escalation, right? All of you have a direct line to me, right? Whether it's a WhatsApp text message, it's a WhatsApp call, and it may be just like, you text me and I don't respond, then send me another message. Send me 5 messages. What's the worst I'm going to do to you? Maybe I'm busy, maybe I'm not, but I'm here, as are these leaders, to be there for you, right? So don't ever hesitate to escalate. I know sometimes as South Asians, we play on the back foot, but in terms of stuff like this, you have to trust that people around you are here to do the right thing for you. So just escalate. The next is agile thinking and learning. Try to adopt an agile thinking and learning mindset and learn from your mistakes and try to improve yourself accordingly. The other item is something that I think goes against the grain of being a Pakistani, which is be on time. Right? Always be on time. Again, client meetings, number 1. Internal meetings, number 2. Right? Always be on time. If you're running late and stuff happens, right? Let people know. Let people know way in advance. And this applies to the same thing with client deliverables. Things happen. Things get delayed. But the more heads up you give people, the better it is for you. And this is a simple concept around managing people's expectations. Right? The other angle here is an interesting one, and it was more appropriate a few years ago, maybe not so as much, is get in before your boss and stay after your boss. That leaves an impression. This goes against the whole point about, executing responsibly. We don't want people to be working 60 hours every single week, week over week, for like months at a time. So it doesn't mean that you always have to come in before your boss. It doesn't mean you always have to stay later than your boss. But if you're trying to make an impression and if you're new, that's a great way to do it. The next rule is around integrity versus breaking rules, right? So again, a topic sometimes us Pakistanis have a difficult time grappling with, right? Be honest, be upright, never lie. I'm telling you right now, there is zero room for anybody lying here. Like zero room. One issue, you're out. Whether it comes to money or any other matter, right? Integrity is like something you don't shatter trust internally within the team and with our clients. Right? One mistake shatters trust. So there's like zero tolerance for that. If a mistake happens, own it. Don't lie and cover up because you will get caught and that will be worse repercussions than just escalating, hey, I made a mistake. I lost a laptop. That said, some rules can be bent or broken. Right? Sometimes we get hung up, right? We always do the same thing over and over again. Push it, push the limit. Again, integrity is up here, but everything below integrity, push the limit. Why are we doing certain things certain ways? Change it, question it. There is no exception to the rule that every rule has an exception. Take calculated risks and, challenge the rules, right? Moving on to the next concept, build what you work what you build. This is a very simple concept and it applies to the work that we do in consulting and our services to our clients. If we're billing the client 10 hours, make sure you have worked 10 hours. Don't bill the client $1 extra. Don't bill the client $1 below. Again, it goes to integrity. If you worked 20 hours, in our systems, put in 20. We might only bill the client 10. But never underbill yourself. Nobody here will ever ask you that, hey, work 5 hours, but only in your timesheet put 2 hours. Because we have to bill the client. If a project profitability has to come down, let it come down. So bill what you work. Whatever you work, put that into the timesheet. If we estimated that a project would take 20 hours and you had to work 50 hours, so now the project has lost 30 hours. Who cares? Bill the 50 hours. Because that is a lesson for all of us. That the next time when we do this project, we can't tell the client it will take 20 hours. So you have to put those down. And on the flip side, if you work 5 hours, don't bill the client 10 hours. Zero tolerance for that, right? That trust. The next is a positive attitude and body language. Always maintain positive body language at work, physically but virtually also, right? Laugh, have fun. Nobody wants to be around someone who's like down all the time, right? So even in email, like it's New Year's right now. When you're talking to clients, Happy New Year. How was your New Year? Share a little bit about yourself. I had a good time. Like, make it personal also, right? And the other way to kind of look at this is people want to be around people that are glass half full, not glass half empty. Right? Where if something is wrong, and things are wrong all around us, if you always are complaining or even sometimes complaining, nobody wants to be around that. People want to be around positive people. If life was easy, as an example, a lot of you wouldn't have jobs. There's a reason why clients need us to do what they need us to do. It's supposed to be tough. And we're here to solve through that. So think about like that positive body language, whether it's, physically here or virtually in an email, right? Or in text messages, etc. And just even the power of yes, something that, I learned a lot later in my career, right? Where I would dig my heels in and I'd be like, no, I know the right thing. And much, much later, I realized that I don't know the right thing all the time. So I make it my focus to try to say yes 90% of the time. And even when I have to say no, I'm going to try to find another way. Like I'll be like, no, try it. Try it for 2 weeks. Come back to me with the result. If the result is good, then I was wrong. So what? Who cares? No pride of ownership, right? Try it, learn. I'll give you one example. Hassan and Yasser came to me a year ago and they said, let's try to get a place where we can all sit. I didn't think it was a good idea. But I was like, you know what? Let's try it. And I was wrong. It was one of the smartest decisions that we made initially to get a space, and then an even smarter decision to move into this CoLab facility. There's so many benefits of this. It's very expensive real estate, but there's so many benefits of it. But that was me with the power of yes, right? No pride of ownership, right? Admitting to you all that I was wrong. No harm in that. So in this section, there's 5 assignments. And what we'll do is we'll just quickly go through each one and discuss each one. So the first one is Google Customer is King, being customer centric. And feel free to play around with this. It doesn't have to be exactly this search, right? Just play around with it. Create a 3-box slide that looks like this. A slide title and 3 takeaways from this Googling around. Takeaway number 1, title. Takeaway number 2, title. Takeaway number 3, title. Big font, big font, big font, and small details. Just, 2 or 3 bullets underneath it. And what you'll see is that this theme of a 3-box slide is going to recur in these assignments. That you're going to have to create these simple 1-sliders around each one of these assignments, or most of these assignments. The second one is Google best way to stay organized. Power of task lists. Create a 3-box slide. And another theme across all of these trainings is, try different things. Lists work for me. If there's a better way, go for it. Right? Nobody is saying you have to do this. Right? Just think about that. Assignment 3, find an email client where you can snooze messages and test that feature out. Assignment 4, find a complex topic like machine learning, and you can pick any topic you want, but it has to be complex. Go to YouTube, search machine learning explained simply. Find a video less than 5 minutes, create a 3-box slide. Now, this trick is obviously for machine learning, but you can replace machine learning with anything. So if there was a complex topic that I'm going to talk about, or I have talked about already, and you don't know it, tonight go home, whatever that topic is, add explain simply. Add explain for dummies. Explain to children. Because some of these topics can be complex. And more watch YouTube videos, especially videos less than 5 minutes. And if you understand the tip of the pyramid, then you can deep dive into an hour-long talk. Assignment 5. In this section, from organization to mistakes to being on time, create a 3-box slide on your perspective. Do you agree? Disagree? Do you have any questions? So the second section is getting ahead. And the first point is solving problems. Always focus on solving problems. Go above and beyond to solve the problem. Add value to your client. Everyone has clients. You might be working on an internal project. You might be working on an external project. You might be working for your boss. It doesn't matter. Everyone has a client. So treat people as clients. Solve a problem. Add value. Try to think outside of the box when thinking of solutions. That's where the YouTube trick and that learning comes in. Find other ways. Be intellectually curious and go above and beyond. And the next one is kind of linked to do research. Always try to stay ahead of the latest trends by doing your own research. Some helpful research techniques include searching for what you're searching for and add the word PDF after it. So as an example, like data analytics is a big theme right now. So what is data analytics? Just type in data analytics PDF. So you're going to get these amazing reports from like the biggest consulting companies, from McKinsey to Deloitte to KPMG, and you can actually leverage those reports because they're very easy to read and understand. And the other aspect to doing research is do your homework. When you are going to get into a client meeting, have you Googled the client organization? Have you gone to their website? Do you understand what they do? Have you Googled the client's names? Looked at their LinkedIn profile? All of this is around doing research and being ahead. And don't be overwhelmed by it. Nobody is saying when you do the research that you have to retain everything you've. But even if you get 4 or 5 points that you write down in your notebook, and now you're in the meeting with the client, you have some of that knowledge in front of you. Maybe it fits into conversation, maybe it doesn't. The next point is be 10% different. So this comes from a famous talk that a futurist does. And the idea is that every single company needs to derive 10% of revenue from new products and services. Ideally 20-30%. So when somebody is trying to compete with you, sure, they can compete with you. But you're reinventing yourself, so it doesn't matter. This actually applies to all of us as individuals. What did you do this year that was 10% different than last year? What are you going to do 10% different next year that is different from this year? So that you constantly evolve. Leverage a library. So this applies to PowerPoint presentations, coding, right? Where don't reinvent the wheel. There's amazing templates that we have, and we'll get to that in the assignment, that you can actually get a running start. So you can steal, copy, paste, and steal from different templates. The next one is make your clients and managers' life easier. My first boss told me, your ability to make my life easier will take you places. And this is connected to solving problems, right? If you solve your boss's problems or your client's problems, it's going to take you places. Everyone talks, right? I connect with your clients. And if the clients are telling me good things about you, I'm hearing those things. So it's all about, making their life easier. Go above and beyond. Make their life easier. Find shortcuts. Templates is a great example of a shortcut, right? That over years of making PowerPoint, I'd be like, oh my God, that slide was amazing. Where is it? And I have to go fish for that. Then I'd be finding that. So I was like, you know what, screw this. I took all the best of slides and created a template. So think about shortcuts for you, right? All of my templates are pinned into PowerPoint. Easy access. I'll give you another shortcut. I have in my documents a best of folder. All my documents are all over the place. But the best documents I put in there and I sort on date modified. So I have all my best documents like this. I don't have to go digging into this file or this folder. It's boom right there. That's my shortcut. So think about shortcuts. The next topic is a bit more complicated, and it's about getting A's, B's, C's, and D's. In school, you're taught always to get an A, and the highest grade is better. Let me tell you that that does not apply in this world. Just remove the concept that you have to get A's. Because if you try to get A's all the time, we will slow the progress down. Sometimes you have to get an A on some tasks. Sometimes B is okay. Sometimes C is okay. Sometimes D is okay. Sometimes ignoring it is okay. You have to make judgments on every single task that you do. How important is it? There is a principle called the Pareto Principle. It's the 20-80 rule. If a problem is yay big, and this is 100%, it will take 20%. So let's say it takes 100% effort to solve this 100% problem. Let's say you're creating a complicated deck, 100 pages. So you have to spend 100 hours to finish the deck. The Pareto Principle says, roughly, not exact, if you spend 20 hours, you can get to 80% of the deck. Because the last 20% is the hardest. Cleaning it up, solving it. So I used to sit there, I remember when I was younger, 2 o'clock in the night, cleaning up everything. And the only person who cared was me. I was trying to get the A. So you have to determine, is the client looking for an A? Or am I looking for an A? And is the A adding value, or is B okay? Because the client is going to think the B, that your B, is his A or her A. So make these constant decisions, right? On A, B, C, D. I remember I've made some big mistakes along the way where I got an email once and I ignored it. Later in the afternoon, I got another email saying, hey, where are we on this? It was the biggest mistake to ignore it. Mistake made, but I spent the next 3 weeks cleaning that up. So the people remember what I did over the 3 weeks, not the mistake I made. So this is where you have to upskill your judgment. In the beginning, you'll be bad. Talk to leaders around you. Don't worry about it. How many times have we talked about making mistakes? Nothing's going to happen. Just constantly learn. Like, be really attuned to the feedback. And it's kind of linked to the next point, which is shipping is a feature too. So this comes from software development, where when you're developing a product, you can try to make it perfect and then ship it. But if you look at your favorite app on your phone, how many features did it have 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 1 year ago, and today? It's constantly evolving. So if you draw the parallel between our deck building, sometimes you just have to get it out. Let the client respond. Otherwise, you're going to sit there perfecting it, and again, the only one who cares is you. So think about that. And then the last point here is making it sing, right? Where I know I've shared some videos with you and will continue to share more, but how do you excite people? That when they see your product, they see your presentations or your website, or they see some of the technology work you're doing, how are they going to be excited by it? Eventually, we're going to get into the video editing business. When they see that product, they're like, oh my God, this is amazing. It connects back to, please the client, right? If you please the client, they're going to give you more work. Okay, so now let's talk about assignments. Assignment 1, Google Technology Trends PDF. Create a 3-box slide on what you've learned. Assignment number 2, Google the 20-80 rule. Create a 3-box slide on what you've learned. Assignment number 3, Think about where you want to grow, something you want to learn, or you are passionate about. Think about your weaknesses and create a simple 3-pronged plan for the next 12 months on what you're going to do next year. Assignment 4, ask your colleague for the template folder, Time Saver and other templates. Save that onto your computer, pin them to PowerPoint, create a 3-box slide on how this will help you. Assignment number 5, what does the A, B, C, and D principle mean to you? Discuss with your colleague, create a 3-box slide. All right, let's move on to building relationships. The first principle there is build true relationships. Really, really care about your colleagues, really, really care about your clients. If you show a genuine interest, it will show in your relationship. Get to know your colleagues, get to know your clients. Virtually, it's hard sometimes, but that's where LinkedIn comes in, etc. Understand what their hobbies are. If they're into, skiing, or they're into, tennis, just talk to them about their hobbies. Then help others with or without purpose. There's a concept in software development called open source, where people write software and they give it to the world. And the first time you hear about that, you're like, why are people crazy? They're creating something of value and they're giving it to the world. And because of open source, you bring people on a journey together. And people rally behind an idea. It's not always about money. And what happens is that you get more and more people involved in a project, and you create a beautiful operating system like Linux. And Linux powers most of the web servers that are behind your favorite websites and your favorite apps. So that principle applies to your personal life or your professional life, actually both. That how will you help others without purpose? Because you're building the relationship and you don't know if it will ever come back. Maybe one day you need their help. Then it's easier to pick up the phone and say, hey, help me. Empathize. This is a tough concept, right? Really, really think about it from their perspective. When you're designing a presentation or a website, this is not it really honestly is not about you. It's about the client. What do they care about? What do they want? So I have this concept that we've discussed a lot. I think of it as amnesia. That when I finish a deck, I pretend I have amnesia. And I'm going to look at the deck with fresh eyes. Am I going to get it? Am I the client? And I put myself in the client's shoes. Am I understanding that? The website. So really, really think about it from their perspective. And this is kind of linked to another concept where I had difficulty earlier in my career, where I thought I had all these amazing ideas and I had to get them off my chest. So whether it was verbally or it was presentations, I would just put everything there. And let me also dispel another illusion. Nobody cares about the thoughts in your head other than you. Let me repeat this. It's harsh. All the thoughts that are in your head, nobody cares about all of them other than you. Even your parents who love you very much, right, don't care about them as much as you do. And for sure, clients don't. So think about what that means when you're communicating, whether verbally or in the form of a presentation or in the form of a website. What is the most interesting to the client? What is the most insightful? Focus on what they're interested in. Summarize it. So assignment number 1, Google build relationships. Google the same and add in business. So add build, basically say building relationships in business. Create a 3-box slide on what you've learned. Assignment number 2, Google leadership lessons from The Godfather. Create a 3-box slide. The Godfather was like the king, at least as a fictional character, in building relationships. And there's many lessons to be learned in terms of how we operate in the business side. Assignment number 3, Help someone without them asking for that help. Just volunteer. You're in a pressure situation, and somebody's like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. Just like, I'll help you. Just raise your hand. And create a 3-box slide on your experience. Assignment number 4, Google building business relationships virtually, because that's another challenge for us, right? Where a lot of our clients are abroad. How do you build relationships virtually? Create a 3-box slide on what that means to you. All right, let's move to number 4, effective communication. It starts with keep it simple. Simplicity is needed to convey an idea, emphasize the insightful, and remove the distractful. There's a very crude concept, and I wish I had a better way to say it, and maybe you guys can tell me that way. But the concept is kill your babies. Everyone thinks their babies are the prettiest. All the ideas you have. Be brutal, right? And we're going to talk about that a little later, but when you're conveying an idea, you collect, organize, eliminate. Collect, organize, eliminate. Keep doing it. I remember before when I would do these research and I'd download 30 PDFs. I would basically have to read all the PDFs. Who's saying you have to read all the PDFs? Read 5. Quickly scan. Then I would put all these ideas into a PowerPoint. I'd have 100 ideas. And then I'd have to go through each one and go tick, tick, tick. Be brutal. Kill them. Put them to the side. Sometimes what I do is, because I find it hard to kill these ideas, in my PowerPoint, I'll create, towards the end, I'll create a parking lot list and put all the ideas behind the parking lot. So the front part of the deck is clean and the back is a little dirty. And I'm playing a game with myself. I haven't killed my baby. It's still there. But the core is good. This is also linked to the 20/80 rule, right? Where I can clean up all those babies if I wanted. I could put them into the deck. But I'm only trying to please myself because the client thinks that my B is his A, which is fine. The next is take people on a journey and storytelling. Think about your favorite movie. And what makes a movie great? It grabs your attention and holds your attention for 2 hours. And there's a beautiful story behind it. So think about everything you do, right? Whether it's presentations or website, written communication. How are you going to tell that story? Communicate properly and take people on a journey. A great story has an engaging beginning, insightful content, and clear conclusion. Talk to them in the language they use every day. Don't use technical language. Just use language, empathize with them. The third is elevator pitch. When explaining something to others, think that you are in an elevator and you have 30 seconds to tell them your story. How would you convey your idea? And this applies to so much, right? Where if you're opening up a client meeting, don't go on for 5 minutes. Cover it in 30, 40, 50 seconds. And this is really hard because, again, you have all of these ideas. Connect it to nobody cares about those ideas other than you. Distill it down to the key items. Written communication. Write the way you talk, naturally. Use short words, short sentences, proper grammar, short paragraphs. Use clear, concise, and precise language. And this is hard. I've been at this for 20 years, and I was never a good writer, and it's constant. Just keep at it, and you'll get better and better. And data is becoming super, super important in our written and verbal communications. Because data gets people's arms around it. So when you're communicating whatever you're communicating, think about data. So if you're communicating progress to a client, we completed 50 slides. We downloaded 100 images. Just think about how you insert data into your conversations, how you insert data into your written communication, whether it's presentations or it's websites. The next item is always ask a question. In any setting, always ask a question. So there shouldn't be any client meeting that you're on that you don't speak. And you will have butterflies. if it's especially the first time you're doing it, maybe it's a senior client, don't worry about the butterflies. You have to push yourself to leave an impression, because then the client knows you're adding value, and you'll have questions. Undoubtedly, you will have questions. If you don't ask them, then how will people know you have a question? I've been in meetings with like senior CEOs, and I have butterflies. Like, I'm telling you, it's like I'm in a meeting with 150 people, and I remember the CEO of a big company came right to me in my face and basically said, "What have you been doing for the last day?" I had butterflies like crazy. So I know what that feels like, but you have to get over it, or you have to ignore it for that 1 minute. And this is connected to the research point, that if you've done your research on the client, you can ask the smart question. So think about that. Document takeaways from meetings. 90% of meetings, you should send out takeaways. WhatsApp, email, whatever the communication channel is. Send takeaways. And the simple template is basically you summarize it. And you basically summarize it into 3, 4, 5 takeaways. Nobody has time for more takeaways. Right? At the top of the email, basically say, it was great to connect with you all, whatever meeting, lovely to meet you all. Start in a positive turn, right? Very insightful. Put some compliments in. And then say, here were the 5 takeaways from the meeting. Maybe in brackets, you can put who has the action item, if one of the takeaways was an action item. Maybe you put the date, so you can hold people accountable. And if people disagree with that, you can also say at the end of it, people, please feel free to adjust if I, misdocumented something. So now it's an opportunity to level set with everyone. And if you have many more takeaways that are important, put them below your signature. So you've summarized for their benefit on the top, and you have the rest below. But trust me, summary is key, right? No details, right? No vomiting. Boom, boom, boom. Crisp. All right, let's talk about assignments. From the Technology Trends PDF exercise, find one complex topic and create a 3-box slide to simply explain it. Right? So just think about how to simply explain a complex topic. Google importance of storytelling, and then maybe another search is importance of storytelling in Disney. Importance of storytelling in business. Again, feel free to play around with this. Create a 3-box slide. For the work you do at Declaration, so assignment number 3, for the work that you do at Declaration, write a 30-second pitch and verbally give it. Make it so that a super senior CEO who's stuck in the elevator with you, or a long forgotten aunt who's not super technical, they can understand it. Use those words. Can you explain your work to the CEO or to an aunt? And if you can't, work on that pitch. Work on the work you do, work on who you are and your journey. It should be very simple, very straightforward. And it comes very handy, right? In client meetings, you should introduce yourself. My name is Salah. I've been on Wall Street for 20 years. I spent 10 years as a consultant. Then I moved to JP Morgan. I did big projects for them. And now I'm at Bank of America. And I work on big projects for Bank of America. Boom, boom, boom. So what is your 30 seconds isn't 30 seconds, right? It could be 60 seconds. For sure, it's not 3 minutes, right? Short, boom, boom. Assignment number 4. Google principles of effective business communication and create a 3-box slide. Assignment number 5, role of data. Google role of data in business. Create a 3-box slide. Assignment number 5, in a meeting with more than 5 people, or maybe go to a talk. There's a lot of talks that are going to happen in Colab. There'll be other areas within Lahore that talks are happening. Make an effort, go to a talk, big audience, raise your hand, ask a question. It's going to hurt. It'll hurt the first time, it'll hurt the second time, the third time. Slowly it'll get easier. Keep in mind, you're doing all of this research on the side. So you're now smarter. You're smarter than most people in that room now because of all of these research tricks that you can leverage, right? So you can ask the smart question. And who cares if your question isn't smart? You're going to learn from that mistake. Assignment number 6. For this section, document the key takeaways. Pretend we were just in a meeting. What are the key takeaways? 5 takeaways. And then you can put the rest in the details below your signature. Or for that matter, for people that are seeing this just in the small granular, go to any meeting and just document takeaways as an assignment. Google XXX great presentations, where XXX equals rules for great presentations, making great presentations, easy ways to make great presentations. Create a simple 7 to 10 page deck on your perspectives on creating a great presentation. So it's a 7 to 10 page deck on creating great presentations. And you get bonus points for finding a really cool, catchy title. Assignment number 8, and this is going to be a permanent assignment as long as you're employed at Decklaration. 1 blog post a month. You have to do. Whether it's something you're learning, maybe it's client related, just make sure client is okay with it, right? You can't just, sometimes it's sensitive information. Every single month you have to do 1 blog post. You will be measured on that success at the year end. There's so many benefits of it, right? One is obviously Decklaration benefits because we have a good marketing strategy. Second is you are going to make your writing better and better. And find people within the space who are great writers. Make them QA it. Make the blog post visual. Add pictures, add diagrams. All right, on to the last section, and it's called extra. So go above and beyond. Don't just look to do the bare minimum of your job, but look to go above and beyond and add more value. Like I remember when I first started in consulting, a couple of places where I had this really great idea, but I knew it would take 12 hours. I remember spending all night. And the next day when I delivered that, the client was just shock and awe. It's like, oh my God. It was this very complex proposal with data everywhere. I created a simple index. But to create that index, I had to go through like all these documents. And then when the client had to read it, all they had to do was index and they could go to whatever page. Made their life easier. So when you're in it day to day, you're going to understand your subject matter like nobody else. So what you understand, nobody understands it as good as you do. So remember that. And you're going to have ideas. Some ideas will be successful, some will be failures. And we've all discussed this, right? Failure is okay, right? For every one idea where I stayed up till 5, I have other ideas where I stayed up till 5 and didn't go anywhere. But the ones that did were the ones that propelled me further, right? Have mentors, value feedback. Now, whether it's people here at Decklaration, it could be outside, find people that you admire. And, there was a junior person that I know who was like, I don't like the way the person thinks. So why do I want them to be my mentor? If the person is successful, it's just to get ideas from them. Maybe you agree, maybe you disagree. And then just think about how all of you are very smart individuals and you can take best of things from everyone. So everything I'm sharing here, everything I've shared in this training set is what works for me. It may or may not work for you. Take the best of and blaze your own trail. Balance passion with emotion. So many times, I've gotten into back and forth with people on email or WhatsApp because I'm emotional. They say something, I reply back. They reply back, I reply back, I reply back. You have to not be emotional, you have to be passionate and you have to be smart. So the trick here is sleep on it. Think about the problem that's worrying you today. Maybe the issue you had with the client. Maybe it's an issue with your colleague. Maybe it's an issue at home. The small thing, right? Like one of you was late here today, right? And that's an issue for me. But over a 6-month period, over an year period, it's not an issue. If you show up on time every single day, it doesn't matter. So the point here is that sleep on it. Sleep on it for a day or 2 or 3 and respond the next day. Calm down. I remember I used to bang the phone, right? Being pissed off. What's the point? There's the only thing that you control is your response. And if you control your response, just sleep on it. Let things calm down and tackle. And I've seen at least 95% of the times when I'm in a situation where I'm really, really worried and I'm anxious, right? Within 24 hours, a solution comes. Most of the time. So in that moment, you worry, right? And you worry really, really hard. Be passionate. Don't let it drive you to craziness, right? And I think of things as a pendulum. That I'll be worried or I'll get anxious and then I'll push myself back. Hey, don't worry about it. Solutions will come. Give it time. Then the other one is self-awareness. Confronting the brutal facts. Where are you strong? Where are you weak? Think about it long and hard, right? I know my weaknesses. I'm not going to share them on camera, but I know, and we've discussed this very openly. So you have other people that for them, it might be their strengths. So that's where the power of teamwork comes in, right? Sometimes as South Asians, we want to go in our own way. We don't want to be collaborative. I can absolutely assure you that as a team, you will be far more successful than as individuals. And the whole point is that we have to complement each other, right? That if we have to grow this business from today, 8 people to 20, 30, 40, 100 people, we're going to have to do it as a team and we're going to have to complement each other. And for that, really understand what your weaknesses are. And we'll formalize, HR and development plans. But in the development plan, identify your 3 top strengths and identify your 3 weaknesses. Resilience. Never give up. Just keep at it. You can't be afraid of setbacks. There will always be setbacks in life, right? You have to have faith that you're going to get through it. And if this doesn't work, something else will work, right? So just keep trying, keep at it, and you'll survive. So this one's one of my favorite lessons and something that I really wish that somebody had smacked my head way earlier in my career and taught me this lesson. And this is pick your battles. Do not dig your heels in, right? Not every battle is worth fighting. You might have 5 great ideas on a project and other people are saying, no, let it go. It goes back to the resilience point. There's other ways. Sleep on it, right? Pick the ones worth fighting. You can't fight a war on 10 different fronts. Pick the ones that you want to fight. Win those, build, iterate. And the most important point here is, and I want you to really, really think about this now, which is, do you want to be successful or do you want to be right? This is something that I didn't understand when I was younger, right? I was more focused on being right. Who cares about being right? Who cares about my ego? I would take success any day over trying to win some stupid little battle. And usually those battles are very stupid, especially if you think of it in the context of 6 months or 1 year, right? I remember so many times with clients, with colleagues, I would be like, I want this. Who cares? Some battles, for sure, you have to fight, right? Other battles, you can ignore. And I want you to think of that, obviously now, but I want you to really, really think about it when you're in the situation. Am I trying to be successful or am I trying to be right? And what's important at that point? Sometimes, you got to, right is right. When it comes to integrity and some of those rules, then right is right. Then success doesn't matter. But for all other cases, or for most all other cases, always pick success. So another rule is divide and conquer, something I learned later in life, right? Where world hunger can be solved, but it can only be solved one city at a time. If you try to big bang it and you want to do it together, it won't get done. Start somewhere and then build off of that. So divide your problems into mini parts, solve each part one by one. And plan it out. Don't procrastinate. If you're building a 100-page deck and you have to do it over 10 days, try to build 10 slides every day. Or do one full pass every day. But if you leave it till the end, like if you think about your college days, and I know I left all my papers till the end, you will build a bad product. I can absolutely assure you that if you do it slowly, instead of racing through it at the end, if you do it slowly, you will build a better product. So divide and conquer. And over here, I know everyone's got their own personalities, right? Procrastination is a killer. So if you're one of those people that procrastinate, that's part of your weakness, right? You have to adjust that. And it might be difficult to adjust it, but do it slowly. The next is balance. One of my favorite sayings is everything in moderation, including moderation. So you have to really understand that to kind of get into the details of it, right? It's layered. No, always be in the middle. And sometimes be on the left, sometimes be on the right. Sometimes go up, sometimes go down. But choose. Sometimes be quiet. Sometimes talk a lot. Sometimes. But make those deliberate choices. Learn to be aggressive also. Sometimes, it's all individual, right? Everyone's got their own personality. Sometimes we aren't aggressive. But if you don't ask, you're not going to get an answer. And if you don't try, so no harm in asking. Then the last point here in this extra section is play the long game. Rome wasn't built in a day. There's a concept that talks to how there were two teams that were trying to get to the Antarctic. And those two teams, one team was methodical, was very measured. The other team was passionate, emotional. This team, they did 20 miles every day. This team, if the weather was good, they did more. If the weather was bad, they did less. All over the place. This team had a very fateful end. They weren't able to get back. This team survived. So think about your careers over 5, 10, 20 years. Sometimes it's hard to do, especially if you're young. But that's how careers are made. And if you think of the power of compounding, there's a famous story about a Chinese person ages ago did a favor for the emperor. And the emperor says, "What can I do for you?" And the Chinese person says, "In the first square of a chess board, give me 1 grain of rice. Then double it, So it's 2, 4, 8, 16. And you can get to 32. And the emperor was like, "Wow, that's easy, I can do it." The emperor was short-sighted because when you go from there to there, you are basically serving food for billions of people. That's the power of compounding. Right? If you think about 1 degree of change, 1 degree just seems like this much, just a little. But over 10, 20 years, the distance that you create is like this. So if you keep at it and play that long game, that's the way to do it. All right, assignments. Assignment 1. In a work-related matter, go above and beyond and create the 3-box slide to document the experience. Find a mentor, have 2 or 3 conversations, create a 3-box slide, document the experience. Assignment 3. At Declaration, find a moment where you got stuck and how you found another way to get around it. Create a 3-box slide on this experience. Assignment 4. Create a 3-box slide on the principle. Do you want to be successful or do you want to be right? What does that mean to you? Assignment number 5. When you start a new project, divide and conquer. Create a plan. Google Gantt chart and use a template from our time saver that has this timeline. Create a Gantt chart. Assignment number 6. Google 20-mile march and create a 3-box slide on what it means to you.